Men, when you suspect your partner might be unfaithful, the most reliable source of truth often isn't her behavior toward you. It's the social dynamics between her and her friends. Women who cheat almost always confide in at least one friend, and that secret knowledge creates detectable changes in the entire friend group's social behavior. Before we dive in, hit subscribe, smash that like and hype button, and drop a comment if you've seen these social clues play out and how they helped you recognize infidelity that you might have otherwise missed. Clue 1. The friend group suddenly splits into factions. When her previously unified friend group suddenly shows visible division, certain friends clearly disapproving of her behavior while others support her, tensions and coldness between friends who were previously close, or obvious taking of sides around her choices. This split reveals internal conflict over her infidelity. Not all friends approve of affairs, and that moral disagreement creates visible faction formation. What this reveals? This reveals the friend group knows about the affair and is divided over whether to support her choices or disapprove of them. Some friends become accomplices who help maintain deception and justify betrayal. Other friends disagree with infidelity, but stay silent out of loyalty while showing their disapproval through distance and coldness. This division creates observable social dynamics where unity fractures into opposing camps. Notice which friends seem to form each faction. Often the friends helping her maintain the affair become her inner circle, while friends who disapprove distance themselves without completely severing the friendship. The friends who are constantly with her, providing alibis, and actively involved in her social life are likely the ones supporting and facilitating the affair. Friends who suddenly seem less present or more formal with her are likely the ones who know but disapprove. Watch how she navigates these factions. If she seems to carefully manage which friends are together at which times, if she avoids having the whole friend group together when you're around, if certain friends are never invited when others are present, she's managing the social tensions created by the affair. This careful choreography of friend combinations reveals she knows some friends can't be trusted around others because their conflict over her behavior might surface. Pay attention to friend group conversations when she's not present. If tensions emerge between friends about her when she's gone, if certain friends defend her while others make pointed comments suggesting disapproval, if there's obvious disagreement about her choices that becomes more visible in her absence, the conflict reveals shared knowledge of behavior they're morally divided over. Observe social media interactions between friends. If friends who used to regularly interact on each other's posts suddenly don't, if certain friends are excluded from group photos or activities that include others, if there's visible social distance between factions of the friend group, the affair has created enough moral conflict to damage friendships and create observable social division. Why this matters? Friend group division is clear evidence that something significant and morally divisive has occurred. Unified friend groups don't split into factions over nothing. When you observe clear division with some friends supporting her and others distancing themselves, you're seeing the social fallout of behavior that creates moral disagreement. In context of suspected infidelity, this factional split is a strong indicator that the affair exists and has created internal friend group conflict between those who accept it and those who don't. Clue 2. One friend acts as primary gatekeeper and protector. When you notice one particular friend has become unusually protective of her schedule, acts as spokesperson for her availability, creates barriers between you and her, or generally positions themselves as gatekeeper, controlling your access, this protective friend is likely her primary affair accomplice, the friend who knows everything and actively helps maintain the deception. What this reveals? This reveals she has a primary confidant and accomplice who knows all the affair details and actively participates in maintaining the deception. This friend helps create cover stories, provides alibis, and acts as buffer, preventing your access at times when she's actually with the affair partner. The gatekeeper role isn't about normal friendship protection, it's about affair facilitation. Notice how this friend specifically interferes in your relationship. If she frequently insists your partner needs friend time that excludes you, if she creates last-minute plans that take precedence over your couple time, if she seems to always have emergencies requiring your partner's immediate presence, she's manufacturing separation that creates opportunity for the affair. The frequency and convenience of these interventions reveal strategic rather than organic need. Watch how this friend communicates on your partner's behalf. If she often answers for her, explains her schedule or unavailability, or speaks as if she has authority over your partner's time and commitments, she's deeply involved in managing the logistics that allow the affair to continue. Normal friends don't position themselves as managers of their friend's romantic relationship. Pay attention to this friend's knowledge of your partner's schedule and activities. If she knows more about where your partner is and what she's doing than you do, if she references activities you weren't aware of, if she seems to have more access to information about your partner's life than you have as the partner, this information asymmetry reveals she's privy to the real schedule while you're only given the cover story. Observe how your partner and this friend interact. If they have obvious inside jokes or meaningful glances you're excluded from, if they seem to communicate non-verbally in ways that suggest shared secrets, if your partner defers to this friend's input on decisions that should be couple decisions, their dynamic reveals a level of intimacy and shared knowledge that extends to secret-keeping about the affair. Why this matters. Every woman having an affair needs at least one trusted accomplice who helps maintain the deception. Identifying this primary gatekeeper friend tells you who knows everything and who's actively helping hide the affair from you. This friend's protective and gatekeeping behaviors are evidence that there's something requiring protection, and in context of suspected infidelity, what's being protected is time and opportunity for the affair to continue. Clue 3. Friends stop including you. In group activities, when you notice a pattern where friend group activities increasingly exclude you, group dinners happen without you being invited, weekend trips are planned without including you, social events you would normally attend suddenly don't include you, this systematic exclusion reveals friends need you absent to maintain comfort and avoid accidental exposure of the affair. What this reveals? This reveals your presence creates problems for maintaining the affair secret within the friend group. When friends know about infidelity, having the betrayed partner present creates discomfort, risk of accidental exposure, and moral tension. Excluding you from group activities removes these problems. They can discuss the affair openly. The affair partner might even be present at events you're excluded from, and they don't have to maintain careful deception during social interaction. Notice the timing of when exclusion began. If you were previously included in friend group activities but suddenly stopped being invited around the same time, other suspicious changes occurred in your relationship. The timing suggests the exclusion correlates with the affair beginning. The shift from inclusion to exclusion marks when your presence became problematic for managing the secret. Watch how exclusion is justified. If friends claim activities are girls only when they weren't before, if they suggest you wouldn't enjoy events you previously enjoyed, if excuses for your exclusion seem manufactured or inconsistent, the justifications are cover for the real reason. They need you absent. Normal friend groups that genuinely like you don't suddenly need to systematically exclude you without real reason. Pay attention to whether she seems relieved by your exclusion. If she doesn't advocate for your inclusion when friends plan activities without you, if she seems happy to attend friend events alone when you used to attend together, if she uses friend activities as reason she can't spend time with you, she prefers your absence. This preference suggests friend time serves purposes beyond friendship, that require you not being present. Observe if evidence suggests additional people at events you're excluded from. If social media posts from these events show more people than just the friend group, if she mentions meeting new people at these gatherings, if there are hints that these events include people you don't know, the affair partner might be attending social events under the cover of friend gatherings you're excluded from. Why this matters: systematic exclusion from friend group activities where you were previously welcome is a strong social indicator that your presence has become problematic. Friends don't suddenly need you gone from activities unless there's reason they need you absent. In context of suspected infidelity, that reason is usually that your presence prevents open discussion of the affair, creates moral discomfort for friends who know the truth, or interferes with the affair partner being present. The pattern of exclusion is evidence that friend group dynamics have changed around secret information that requires your absence. Clue 4. Friends post strategically edited social media content. When you notice her friend's social media posts about activities with her seem strategically edited, people cropped out of photos, vague location tags when specific locations would be normal, careful angles that don't show full groups, or conspicuous gaps in documentation of events you know happened, this selective posting reveals active information management to hide aspects of events from you. What this reveals: this reveals friends are consciously managing what information about her activities becomes publicly visible because full documentation would expose the affair. When friends post about most activities normally, but exercise unusual caution about events involving her, they're protecting information. This might mean the affair partner was present and had to be edited out, or locations and circumstances would reveal contradictions with cover stories she told you. Notice patterns in what gets posted versus what doesn't. If friends post freely about most social activities, but events with her either don't get posted or get posted with noticeably less detail and fewer identifying features, the selectivity reveals those specific events require information protection. What's hidden or edited in social media coverage is what most needs hiding from you. Watch for evidence of editing in photos. If photos seem to have people cropped out, if angles seem deliberately chosen to exclude parts of the scene, if you notice inconsistencies between how many people seem present in different shots from same event, the editing reveals they're removing evidence of someone who shouldn't be visible. That someone is likely the affair partner who was present at social events under the cover of friend gatherings. Pay attention to friend behavior around social media when she's with them. If she monitors and approves what friends post, if she asks them to take down or edit posts, if she untagged herself from certain content, she's managing the digital evidence trail. Her control over friends' social media content about events she attended reveals she's worried about what might be exposed through their documentation. Observe gaps in social media documentation. If she tells you she was out with friends, but there's no social media evidence of that gathering from any friend, the absence of normal documentation suggests the event wasn't actually what she claimed. If activities with friends that would normally generate posts generate none, the events might have included elements that couldn't be safely documented. Why this matters: strategic editing of social media content is evidence of coordinated information management. Friends post normally about their lives unless there's something to hide. When posting about activities with her becomes notably more careful and selective, that caution reveals they're protecting information. The editing, cropping, and selective posting are efforts to prevent digital evidence from exposing the affair through accidental inclusion of the affair partner in photos, revelation of locations that contradict cover stories, or timestamps that don't align with what she told you. Clue 5. The friend group shows collective stress during your presence. When you're around her friend group and notice collective signs of stress, conversations that stop when you approach, nervous energy and discomfort, friends seeming to carefully monitor each other's words, or general tension that releases when you leave. This group-wide anxiety reveals shared knowledge, creating fear of accidental exposure around you. What this reveals? This reveals the entire friend group, or significant portion of it, knows about the affair and experiences anxiety about accidentally exposing it when you're present. Maintaining complex deception requires mental effort. When multiple people are all tracking lies and managing what they can say around you, that cognitive load creates visible tension. The collective stress you observe is the strain of group deception. Notice specific manifestations of this collective stress. If conversations become noticeably more superficial when you're present, if topics that were being discussed before you arrived get abandoned, if there's visible relief and relaxation in the group after you leave, the pattern reveals you create stress because your presence requires careful management of what can be discussed. Watch how friends police each other during your presence. If you notice friends giving each other warning looks, if someone starts to say something and another friend quickly redirects, if there's obvious monitoring of each other's words and behavior, they're working together to prevent accidental exposure. This mutual monitoring reveals shared responsibility for maintaining the secret. Pay attention to whether stress increases when certain topics arise. If mentions of recent activities, weekends, or specific time periods create visible tension in the group when you're present, those topics touch on times when the affair was occurring. The stress reveals those subjects are dangerous territory where accidental truth might emerge. Observe the collective response to questions you ask. If simple questions about what she's been up to create group discomfort, if multiple friends seem involved in constructing answers to your basic questions, if responses seem coordinated rather than natural, they're collectively managing information flow to you. The coordination reveals shared knowledge requiring careful management. Why this matters? Collective stress in her friend group when you're present is clear evidence of shared secret creating anxiety about exposure. Individual friends might be nervous for various reasons, but group-wide stress that's specifically triggered by your presence reveals you're the threat to information they're all protecting. In context of suspected infidelity, that collective anxiety about what might be accidentally revealed around you is a strong indicator that the friend group knows about the affair and fears you discovering it. Clue 6. Friends validate suspicious behavior with coordinated explanations. When you notice her friends all seem to have the same explanations for her behavior changes, absences, or suspicious patterns, they all mention she's been stressed at work. They all reference the same reasons she's been unavailable. They all justify her behavior with matching narratives. This coordination reveals they've been briefed on what story to tell you or have discussed among themselves what explanation to maintain. What this reveals? This reveals she's prepared her friends with cover stories to tell you, or friends have coordinated among themselves on what explanations to give for her behavior. When multiple friends independently offer the same explanations for suspicious patterns, that consistency isn't coincidence, it's coordination. They're all maintaining the same narrative because they've been told what story supports, or because they've agreed on what explanation protects the secret. Notice the similarity in language friends use. If multiple friends use the same phrases to explain her behavior, she's been going through stuff. Work has been crazy for her. She needs space to figure things out. The repeated language suggests coordinated messaging. People naturally expressing their own observations use varied language. Coordinated deception uses consistent language because they're all repeating the same agreed-upon story. Watch how readily these explanations come. If friends offer explanations for her behavior before you even ask about it, if they seem prepared with justifications for patterns you've noticed, If explanations feel rehearsed rather than spontaneous, the preparation reveals they anticipated your questions and coordinated their answers. This preparation suggests they know the real reasons for her behavior, but have agreed on alternative explanations to tell you. Pay attention to whether explanations align with observable reality. If friends all claim she's stressed about work, but her work situation seems normal. If they all reference challenges that you don't see evidence of, if explanations don't match what you can verify, the coordinated lies reveal the real reasons require hiding. False explanations are necessary when true explanations would expose the affair. Observe if she reinforces friends' explanations. If she mentions the same work stress or life challenges her friends reference. If her version aligns suspiciously well with what friends told you, if there's obvious coordination between her narrative and theirs, they're all working from the same script. This coordination reveals systematic deception, requiring all participants to maintain consistent story. Why this matters? Coordinated explanations from multiple friends reveal organized deception. People don't coincidentally tell you the same story unless they've been told what story to tell or have agreed among themselves on what explanation to maintain. When her friend group speaks with one voice about why her behavior has changed, that unified messaging reveals they're protecting actual reasons that can't be shared. In context of suspected infidelity, those coordinated explanations are cover stories, hiding that behavior changes are due to the affair. Clue 7. New friend or friends suddenly appear who are defensive of her. When someone new suddenly appears in her friend group, someone you haven't met before who seems immediately protective of her, knows surprising details about your relationship, seems to have strong opinions about you despite not knowing you, or acts as defender of her choices. This new friend might actually be the affair partner's friend, or someone connected to the affair being introduced under friendship cover. What this reveals? This reveals her social circle is expanding in ways connected to the affair. New friends who appear suddenly and seem unusually invested in your relationship dynamics might be friends of the affair partner being integrated into her life, or they might be new friends she's made through the affair context. Their immediate defensiveness and knowledge about your relationship reveals they're not neutral new friends. They're people already briefed and positioned regarding the affair situation. Notice how this new friend is introduced and integrated. If she appears suddenly without clear explanation of how they met, if she's immediately part of the inner circle without the normal friendship building period, if she seems to already know information about your relationship that new friends shouldn't know, the rapid integration reveals she's not actually a new friendship in normal sense. She's connected to the affair and being brought into the friend group under friendship cover. Watch how this new friend positions themselves regarding you. If she's immediately critical or defensive when your relationship comes up, if she has strong opinions about your dynamic despite not knowing you, if she seems to already have negative impressions of you based on what she's been told, she's been briefed with one-sided narrative that frames you negatively to justify the affair. Pay attention to knowledge this new friend has about your partner's schedule and activities. If she seems to know details about your partner's whereabouts and plans, if she's involved in activities you weren't aware of, if she seems to have information access that suggests close involvement in your partner's life despite supposedly being a new friend, the rapid intimacy reveals a connection beyond normal, new friendship formation. Observe if your partner seems to need this new friend's approval or validation. If she defers to this friend's opinions, if she seems to manage your interactions with this person carefully, if this new friend seems to have unusual influence over her decisions, the dynamic reveals this isn't just a new friend. This is someone whose opinion matters because of their connection to the affair, either as the affair partner's friend or as confidant who knows everything. Why this matters? New friends who suddenly appear and are immediately defensive, knowledgeable, and influential reveal connections to the affair situation. Normal new friendships don't result in immediate deep knowledge of relationship dynamics and strong protective positioning. When someone new shows these patterns, they're likely connected to the affair context, either friends of the affair partner being integrated into her social life, or new friends made through affair circumstances who are being positioned as regular friends. Their sudden appearance and immediate investment in defending her choices is social evidence that your relationship has additional parties involved.